What's up, what's good everybody? We've got a bunch of Bisu games here today. 2 versus Soma and 1 versus Sharp. So let's get into it. Let's make it happen. I was having a hard time getting onto Broodwar this morning. I woke up all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go, and for some reason I wasn't able to log into battle.net, but thankfully it's working now here in the afternoon. They must have updated something. I looked at the player numbers and there was somewhere around 100 players total on Battle.net, which, I mean, it's a dead game, but it's not that much of a dead game. Come on, let's be real. There was certainly something going on there. And so we're finally able to get online. Looking forward to these games versus Soma. He's been so prolific lately on the ladder. We've been getting a lot of opportunities to see him play. And he's been improving. I mean, he's definitely not where he was pre-military, but here in the end of 2024, and all of these games were played within the last week, by the way, he's been doing very well. Ooh, this is a lot of heavy micro from Bisu, but he's gonna get kind of punished for that. It's forced back. I'll pull 2 drones off the line. He kind of wasted a bit of mining time there, Soma did, chasing that probe, but heck, he got a lot of damage on it, and that's worth a lot sometimes. Natural is gonna go down without too much trouble now, and this overpool will commence. Forge expansion coming now for Bisu, and there's no zealot on the way. Oh gosh, he's put a lot of damage on that now. Just 7 HP. Starts 4 Zerglings. Let's see if he makes any more. Or will he just go straight into drone production now? Lings are gonna come out and start to chase. He's almost got the moving shot on this. If you can path along the hex grid with move commands, you could potentially catch up to that. Oh, looks like he's just gonna lose it. There it is. It goes down. First probe is dead and dusted. So I'm gonna send his lings over. Ah, he didn't send out another probe before the lings arrive at this natural. So actually, Bisu gonna be completely blind from here on. Has no way of getting anything out on the map. He'll probably just have to spam out a couple of zealots and try to push these lings away. Oh, he loses 1 ling, unfortunately, there. Some probes in the wall. Let's see, he'd like to get this probe out on the map if he could. That's probably not going to happen. Nexus was pretty quick, but it's a fine build for Soma to deal with. He's not going to have any trouble here with the overpool build that he's gone for, and he's even gonna catch this probe. Oh, he almost got the full surround on it with the 3 lings. Would have been able to kill it off with just a couple of extra attacks from that ling on the top. But you can see Bisu really needing to get this probe out on the map now. I'm surprised he didn't send the probe out earlier, like right after the probe died over by the natural. Sometimes you'll see Protoss players just send out their second probe immediately. Nice snipe there. Very, very good kill on that all-important probe. Needed to get out on the map. He's already lost 2 probes, and we've only lost, what, 1 link as Soma, so he's going to be feeling very nice. He's going to be feeling very good about his position. He sees the direction that this zealot is heading. He has more links popping. Link speed's about to finish, and behind this, a Hydra Den, which means the longer he delays and he's scouting on the side of Bisu, the better off he's going to be. He finds that zealot. It's going to tuck itself behind the mineral patches here in a moment. That's fine. Surface area is not the greatest, but it looks like he will kill that off regardless. So he does get that. He gets the zealot over at the natural as well. Wow. Soma dealing with this zealot pressure very, very well. And Bisu not targeting properly there. Okay. Gets another zealot. 3 zealots have gone down and not that many lings have been produced. He's got, what, 6 more sets of lings? Oh, interesting. So this is going to be a majority ling bust. We're going to have a bunch of hydras come up. 5 hydras, in fact, are going to make their way to the front. He's going to try to gun down the cannons and then overflow with lings and try to break down this wall. Let's see if he can make it happen. He went for hydralisk range first. Let's see if he can make it work. Oh boy, that cannon's gonna finish up. Ling's gonna get the run by though, going right on past those zealots, and he jumps right on top of this cannon. This is a beautifully done hydra bust, and it is just over. Bisu, nothing he can do about this one. This is a bust that was popular a little while back, but it kind of fell out of popularity. Interesting to see Soma bring it out here. This is the Ling Speed Hydra Range bust. And basically you just get a few early hydras and you flood all into lings afterwards. And it works exactly like we just saw. You run up with the hydras, you gun down the first cannon. You can harass the zealots if they just sit in the wall, right? And the cannon goes down. You can just kill the zealots with the hydras and the lings. The lings are really there to defend the hydras, to prevent the zealots from jumping on top of the hydras as they run up. So usually you'll see the lings run up first and block the zealots into the base while the hydras run up to the wall and gun down the cannons. And then you can take out this wall in and win the game. This is perfectly done by Soma, and it's great to see him in such good form. Let's see if Bisu can bring it back in game number 2. A nice technical bust in game number 1, executed perfectly by Soma. That bust is particularly difficult to scout out because you get ling speed first. Generally with the 973 you don't get ling speed, and that can be kind of a tell. If you don't have ling speed, the Protoss player will start to suspect, oh, maybe this is a 973. With the zealots, they're pressuring, they see a bunch of lings but no ling speed. They're probably going to start throwing down cannons behind that, but if they're just getting cleaned up with the lings on the map, ling speed is done at the normal timing, they might be a little bit confused. They might think, huh, this could be a layer play. The real perfect defense against it, though, the all-important factor that was missing from Bisu's previous game was that scouting information. As long as you can figure out there's a Hydra Den on the way, then you can throw down the cannons in time. You can bring probes in to help block and all that good stuff to prevent the Hydralisk bust from occurring. And so we'll have to see Bisu tighten up his play a little bit more if he wants to survive the Soma early game. Has to, sneak a zealot out. Has to get a probe on the map. Keep that initial probe alive a little bit longer, that's for sure. We might not see him be quite as aggressive this time with his probe control, because he really tried to get in there and get the kill on one of those early drones, but underestimating his opponent, maybe just slightly, thinking that he could deal more damage than he truly could. Ends up taking a bunch of damage and not getting a drone, and then losing his scouting worker super early on. That's not something we generally see from the best Protoss players in the world. This time I'm gonna open up with a gateway first. Gets in here. He's gonna see the lings popping. Try to do a little damage if he can, but again, very important to keep this probe at high HP. A little bit surprised. You see him go down to 12 already. And now just a drone can easily push that probe away. First zealot was coming across the map, but it decides to turn around and head back home. This is a good choice. With the 4 lings out on the map, you really do need to prepare for the possibility of a run by. Getting a probe next to this zealot on the ramp and keeping one next to the pylon, defending the gateway. Absolutely essential from this position. More lings are being made. And a probe is still available. Could come out and scout the reinforcement line. No. No reinforcements coming across the map. Instead, he's just poking with the 4 lings and keeping 4 more back at home to chase down this probe. 3rd hatchery is on the way. That doesn't really say much. 3 hatch is very standard at this point in the game. We're gonna have a forge now in the wall, I imagine. Could be a cybernetic score. If he wants to get a little greedy, could be a cybernetic score. It's possible. Ling's still trying to chase down this probe. Gotta keep that thing alive. It's already been alive longer than it was in the previous game. Getting it up into the main base would be perfect, but I don't think that's going to be possible. As long as Soma's on top of this, you should be able to block that probe at least long enough for the 2nd Ling to deal the damage and take that out. Forge finishing up here at the natural. Cybernetics core in the main base as well. And so we're going to see a more normal game. That's good. I don't want to have these two knock each other out super early in both games. That would be unfortunate. I want to see Soma or Bisu win until at least the 15-minute mark. Let's get a real game out of these two. It's not very often that we get a Soma versus Bisu series. We've had a few in the past, but not that many. It's a real treat to get to watch these two play against each other. Oh, Zealots moving out a little bit. There's no cannon finished just yet, just a probe. Oh, but the probe is ahead of the Zealot. You'd much prefer to see the Zealot with the probe in behind. That way only 1 Ling can attack. He loses a probe, but he doesn't let the Lings in. Very, very important moment there. Seems as though there's enough Lings though to just clear this up. Soma on top of everything, and he's just going to wreck these Zealots, no problem. It's a pretty good micro from Bisu to get the best trade that he possibly can out of this, but in the end, 5 Lings do remain, and full court press on the drones. Just pumping out a huge amount. I'm not really a basketball fan, guys. Sorry if I used that analogy incorrectly. I imagine that I did. +1 is on the way. Citadel as well. Nothing out of the ordinary in this main base for Bisu. He's just trying to get the information that he needs to not die. He's even going to ignore the Overlord initially to get that Corsair out on the map. You know, those Zealots died off pretty quick. There could have been Hydras coming in behind that, so we need to get across, heading in the rally pathway to catch any Hydras that might be on headed in his direction. Spire about to finish now. Overlords are well hidden. You can see there's no Overlords around the main or natural. 2 over in the top right, 1 leaving the main base, but none are gonna get spotted, and that's fantastic. He just needs a little bit more time to get some Scourge out, and so Scourge will begin. Even if he goes up to the top right and finds the Overlord now, it's too late. Scourge will be there in time to save that, so he's not even gonna lose 1 Overlord. Well, he did lose the 1 sacrificial, but that was intentional. He wanted to let that one go just to get the good information about what's coming in to this main base. A 3rd extractor is on the way, and that's telling me that we may be going in for a pretty big swell of Mutilis. Flyer Carapace as well, good indicator that that may be happening, but not something that Bisu can see. Won't know about that upgrade until he sees a Scourge or a Mutil with that already online. So, oh, does take 1 hit, but only loses a bit of that hull HP. We go ahead and send those Corsairs back home. Got to build those up in number. You don't want to be losing any of them in the early game, otherwise it'll make Soma's job a heck of a lot easier when he decides to ogre Zerg you. Yes, I know that Artosis didn't make up the crazy Zerg build, that name. He didn't name that, but Tasteless did name the Ogre Zerg build, that is for sure. I remember the specific game when he did on that historic cast. I don't actually remember who is playing, but here we go. Jumping into the main base now, right on top of this first cannon. He's gonna take that out, no problem. 6 mutas, one of them with low HP. Gotta take this engagement very carefully. It looks like a bad engagement though for Bisu. He loses a bunch of his Corsairs. He still has 5 though. And with 5 Corsairs, you can absolutely wipe out these Mutalisks. Some pretty decent micro to try and keep these mutas alive and split up some of that splash damage, but overall, very nice hold. He's gonna push everything back. He's actually got 2. Where's the second? Oh, there's the second Stargate. Okay, 2 Stargate play. I actually missed that over there in the natural. And so he's actually gonna be able to overwhelm this potentially. Oh, only 4 Corsairs left. 2 more Scourge managed to connect. 2 Corsairs go down. And now there's only 4 total Corsairs. He's gonna be spending a lot of his gas, a lot of his gas to try and keep this number high, to take controls of the skies. +1 armor is now done, so it's gonna be even harder for Bisu to hold these to hold these Scourge back. And I gotta give it up to Soma. You know, getting in there and killing off quite a few Corsairs despite the Protoss player going for 2 Stargate Corsair. That is impressive. You know, he got in there, he lowered the number of Corsairs, he defended the Zealot counterattack, and then he killed off a few more Corsairs yet again. So he's kept this Corsair count relatively low. We're not at like 11 or anything like that. And in fact, it's time for Bisu to switch out of Corsair production already. So he hasn't even killed a single Overlord with this two Stargate Corsair. That's crazy to me. Soma doing an excellent job this game, and Bisu floundering a little bit, but he's gonna get his 3rd base online. He's got air dominance. His opponent went for Mutalisks early on. Still waiting on upgrades for these Hydras. Lurker aspect on the way as well. And so he can't actually challenge this 3rd base just yet, but he'll be ready to do so in another few moments. Corsairs kind of feeling useless right now. I haven't done much this game, and I don't think they're gonna get much done from this position either. Maybe if we see a massive engagement somewhere out in the middle of the map, maybe if Soma comes across and tries to fight with the Hydras, and then the Corsairs go around and hit the Overlords at the rally point. That's a possibility. Maybe he can get some damage there, but he's gonna have to do some misdirecting, that's for sure. He's gonna have to get some of these Hydras out of position. Otherwise, the Corsairs will get absolutely smashed. Nice little wall there. Pretty funny. Lurker wall over at this 3rd base, but now he can't actually rally out. Some of these Overlords are going to go down. Some Corsairs will fall as well, undoubtedly. Muta's making their way forward. Maybe going to go harass at the natural potentially. Maybe pick off a Templar in the rally point if they can. Templar here at the rally is going to get picked off and may go for another one. Second one may end up going down. There it is. It does go down. So 2 High Templar go down. That's pretty rough. We only got Zealots out on the map. And Bisu feeling a little bit outplayed at this point. So many Hydras are coming. So many Lurkers as well. There's 3 cannons over at this base. He's got 1 High Templar, 1 Storm available. He's got 1 Storm in the natural as well. And Soma just has so much stuff. The Storm gets thrown out, but it's a little bit too early, I feel. The Zealots are going to come forward to try and fight, keep the cannons alive. He's got another Templar popping. Looks like the Zealots are going to come from behind as well. Only 2 cannons in this wall anymore. And that Templar is going to go down very quickly. The wall working against Bisu in this case. Bisu going to bring back his Corsairs. Maybe he can snipe the Overlord and go for a DT. His zealots are coming across and not really doing much here at the rally point. There's just too many units. Does he have a DT on the way? He doesn't even have a DT making at the moment. All the probes are gonna go down in that natural. The Corsairs all fall as well. And my goodness, is this domination? Is this domination from a player who's not even technically in the scene right now? He is a military member, Soma, Captain Soma, taking out Bisu twice in a row in incredible fashion. This game was extremely convincing. The way that he took that fight in the main base with his Scourge and Mutas, that's not an easy fight. Very difficult to get any Scourge to connect when your opponent's going to Stargate Corsair, and I think he was completely caught off guard by that as well. He dove in with Mutas and Scourge, and suddenly he saw how many Corsairs. I didn't even realize that at first, right as the engagement started, that there was a few too many Corsairs. There shouldn't have been that many. But he still managed to get some connections on those Corsairs, kill off some of the Scourge, and follows up with this beautiful Hydralisk Lurker assault on 3 bases, not allowing Bisu to take a third. Looks like he was ready to take a fourth over in this top right-hand corner. Excellent, excellent game out of Soma. Can't say enough good things about this guy. Cannot wait to see him in the next ASL as well. Funny, interesting 6-hatch Hydra, by the way, with the 3 hatches over at the natural rather than in this 3rd base. But there's really not that much space over here, so I definitely understand the thinking. And man, I'm probably gonna copy that if I have to play more ZVP on this map. Look at that. That is so hard to get into with Zealots. The egg right in front of the sunken colony, blocking this path. Egg down at the bottom here as well. We've got the evolution chamber on the other side just to make things more difficult for the Zealots. Even if they manage to get back here, it's gonna be a nightmare to try and kill that. Very, very well done on all fronts. We're gonna jump into Bisu versus Sharp next. See if he does any better against a Terran player. Jump right in. Okay, you guys know me. 2 quick games not going to be enough to satisfy my Broodwar cravings, so here we are with Sharp versus Bisu. And Sharp spawning at this top left. We're on Minstrel, by the way, which has produced some of the best games we've seen this year. Gonna have to go through my file folder and pull out what were the best games of 2024, put them together pretty soon. It's already coming up on December. What is it, December 1st today? December 1st, my goodness. Time flies. I'm excited to purchase some flight tickets tomorrow. If you guys don't know, it's like Flight Tuesday or something like that, or Flight Monday. I can't remember the name of it, but December 2nd this year is a special day for purchasing flights. You can get cheaper deals, kind of like Black Friday or Cyber Monday, where most things go on sale. That is December 2nd this year. So if it's December 2nd for you when this video comes out, maybe you'll be able to take a look and get a great deal on a flight. I'm looking forward to buying a trip possibly to Thailand for February. Kind of want to get out of the cold for a little bit. I know it's the high time, probably the most expensive time to go to Southeast Asia, but I'm not a big fan of the cold, and it gets kind of cold where I'm at in Japan. It's definitely gonna start snowing here pretty soon, and it stays relatively humid as well, with quite a bit of wind. So that combination, that's not a great combination, honestly. Wind, humid, and quite cold. I'm talking like -5, potentially -10 at the coldest. I know it sounds kind of wussy. I'm from Canada. I used to live in Edmonton, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to cold, but it's a different level. It's a different type of cold than I'm used to, and it does get under your skin. So that's probably where I'll be headed this wintertime, this February, potentially. Nice eBay block by Sharp. You can see Skip the Zealot was planning to throw down Nexus after first Dragoon and delay the range, it looks like, but instead gonna have to start that range and get the Nexus going a little bit later. Back at home, machine shop on the way, and no bunker just yet. Being a little greedy boy. Sharp gonna try and fight with 3 Marines against this Dragoon, and he already gets quite a bit of damage. It's not bad. He's taken some hull damage already. Gotta run forward here, get a little bit more damage onto that Dragoon. He would love to pick off that 1 low HP Marine if he can. Oh, he should be able to get it now. No, bit of a missed shot there. That is a lot of damage on that first Dragoon, but now the Marines are going to start to fall. Did he overextend a bit by not getting this bunker? We'll see. Second Marine gonna pop, and the tank makes its way to the front, so I guess he's gonna get away with it. Sharp being a greedy little boy. Never building that bunker. And now what's he gonna do? Is he gonna FD push? It's tempting when you do that much damage to the early Dragoon. It's like a couple of shots away from a tank killing that. 30 damage on those tanks, and you've got 32 HP. Just 2 shots, plus shields, of course. Try and make his way over towards this natural. We've got mines complete, but range is done, and observers are going to be on the way in just a moment. He only needs to deal with this for a few short moments. Keeps the low HP Dragoon in the back. Good targeting there, trying to kill that low HP Dragoon fast as he can. 2 of these now are very, very low, but neither of them have fallen, and even gunned down the Vulture during that exchange. Secondary Vulture is going to come up and throw down 3 mines. I think it's just about time to get out of here. He's going to lose the second Vulture, unfortunately. Both of those 2 weakened Dragoons in the back, tucked away. And Sharp is just going to have to retreat. However, he's kind of done what he wanted to do. He set up the mines in the front. Of course, they're going to get cleared now, but he has time to go ahead and place mines at each of the expansion locations so that he knows where his opponent and when his opponent is going to be expanding out on this map. Minstrel is a pretty straightforward map for expansions. It's tempting, like, to try and get the closer base, but with the mineral wall facing out towards your opponent, it's a little bit rough to try and do that. Now, a couple of Dragoons sitting back at home. Got to be careful with these positions. You know, Sharp is very, very good at getting in, and he may even go for the run by here. At the front, 3 tanks back at home. Couple of mines as well, and it looks like he will indeed run by. Nothing in this wall. Sharp gonna get into the natural, get a couple of kills. Probes were pulled towards the main base to try and block, to head him off and prevent him from going up that ramp. So good job there, but he loses 2 probes. Good control, as expected from Sharp. Sasuga Sharp, good job, buddy, getting in there, dealing that little bit of damage. It's totally fine. Once the Vulture has laid down all of its mines, throwing it in and getting a couple of probe kills is absolutely fine, absolutely worth it. Back at home, setting up some more turrets. Already has the one in the main, now with one over the natural and over the natural minerals as well. It's going to be well defended, plenty well defended for this upcoming Reaver drop. Starting to set up some Sim City back at home, and you can see the Sim City is already set up in this main base to prevent vultures from running by this nice wall in case there was some sort of drop play. You can easily throw down, I think you can just drop one gateway there and block. I'm not sure if the pylon's close enough, but kind of looks like it visually to me. He might be able to throw something down should there be a vulture run by, or a vulture drop into the main. Try to run through into that mineral line. Oh, where's the shuttle? Shuttle's out in the middle of the map, just kind of chilling for now, I guess. He's just about ready to send that in now. He's been taking his time so far. See what he can see. Has speed finishing up now. Gravitic drive is done. The shuttle is about to fly in. Let's see what kind of damage you can get over here, because there are turrets. Well, there's one turret anyway. Oh, looks like he's found the one spot where tanks can't hit. I take it back. The tank can hit there. Reaver's got a few kills. A couple more kills go down. A lot of these SCVs are very red. Not a huge amount of kills, though. 3 total. Goes for another shot. Looks like it's going to get stuck. Unfortunately, dud. Maybe he can drop one more time. Go for one more shot. Ooh. Oh, another dud. Now there's finally some Goliaths chasing this. Might have one more spot where he can throw this down. He drops the Reaver. Goes for one last shot. Another dud there. This is not a Snow Reaver, unfortunately. This guy just not quite up to snuff. Gonna finally be dropped out for one last time. No, dies in the shuttle. That is unfortunate, but this was quite a annoyance for Sharp. Thankfully, he is Sharp. He's extremely good. He's been able to, you know, hit his supply depots and continue to make units and spend all of his money, even though he was getting harassed like that. But a lesser player definitely would have lost more, definitely would have missed something, some part of his build while dealing with all that pressure coming forward. And there's already a secondary Reaver ready to start slowing down this push. A 5 factory push from Sharp. It's not completely all in, but it's almost there. This is a lot of commitment from Sharp, who's not going to be continuing his upgrades. He's got +1 armor on the way, but he's a long way off from getting a science facility and starting that +2. So we're about to take the engagement. Backs off after one zealot goes down, and the Reaver gets another pot shot. Tanks are gonna still crawl forward. Not the greatest mind drags on those zealots though, and he's continuing to push up. This is the hard part though. This is the difficult portion of this push. Coming across this bridge is not going to be easy. Sharp has done a great job thus far, but he's 40 supply behind. There's a lot of zealots. Shuttles, 3 shuttles in fact. Reavers as well. Dragoons are ready. Looks like he's gonna turn around and go home. Uh-oh. He forgot 2 tanks. Ooh, there's a great mind drag. Clearing out a lot of that. And Sharp is gonna continue to push. He just lost 2 tanks. Almost for free. Only 1 zealot for 2 tanks is an amazing trade. And he's gonna start to push over this direction. He's thinking better of it now. This is Bisu, who's only been sitting on 3 bases this entire time. He's got his 4th base on the way, but he hasn't been overextending himself and taking too many bases. He's just macroing really, really hard, and that shows. He's got 40 supply advantage over his opponent. 50 supply advantage now, actually, and more, and then some. And so taking a fight against Bisu right now, he's got to have the perfect setup before it happens. And it doesn't look like he's got that. He's gonna come forward. Templar with Storm already. Kind of whiffs that one. Does get a pretty good Storm on some of these Vultures though. Getting rid of the Vultures is the name of the game right now because there's so many Zealots following this up. DT in the mix as well. Does end up going down, but Zealots are on top of all this. You can see Sharp trying his best to target all of the Dragoons down with these tanks at the front line. One more Storm gets laid down on those reinforcements, and Sharp has to retreat. He starts a third base, but this is kind of late. Now, starting the third base, I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Fourth base is already done. Some Vultures over here gonna prevent possibly probes from transferring. You can see a big line of probes was headed up towards top right to saturate that base, but for now, he's gonna be prevented from mining off of 4 bases while Sharp himself getting 3 bases online. He's gonna get that up in just another moment. And still micro here. Sharp gonna try to keep this alive as long as possible, because the longer he denies these probes coming down, the better off he will be. Very frustrating stuff for Bisu in this moment. He took a great fight and beat down that army. He reset the tank count, but he's being slowed down by this. Oh, great Storm there. All right, getting some good damage on some SCVs. As Soma getting slowed down by some small Vulture play. Now, that's really all that's going to be available to Sharp for the time being. He cannot push for quite some time. You can see we've got, what, 6 tanks total? What are we looking at here? 7 tanks? 8 tanks now? Not a whole lot to work with, so he's gonna have to sit back for the time being, try to do little raids like this, try to get some small damage here and there while Bisu continues to grow. This is the best that Sharp can hope for. I'm gonna rotate around, heading over to center right once again. There's only the 1 cannon, but there is a pretty nice wall there. Gonna try and tuck himself, I guess, into this corner. Only 1 cannon can actually attack. Okay, that cannon can't even hit. So this is, again, denying some mining time, and there's not a lot of probes over at this base. This is some good tactics from Sharp. Keeping his opponent back, slowing him down here and there. At the same time, pushing out. He's trying to get this Reaver. Can he actually get it? 7 kills on that. Bisu not quick enough to respond. Manages to pick off that Reaver. With all this chaos going on, the Vultures laying down mines, trying to get some good connections. It looks like they got a very nice hit on a big group of these Zealots. Of course, those shields will regen eventually, but that hull damage is forever. No medics in this group. They come out, maybe pick off the shuttle as well. Oh my goodness, he's gonna get the shuttle with 2 Storms in it. That was meant for the mineral line. But Sharp, with all the pressure he's been putting on, keeping Bisu on the back foot, not allowing him to pay attention to harassing, not giving him any mental space to try and deal harassment damage to Sharp at this base. And Sharp's been mining here effectively for a good amount of time now. He's pumped up that factory count. He has his science facility done, and he should be starting +2. Yeah, he's got +2 on the way. Don't see +2 armor just yet, but look at this. Plasma shields and air weapons. Gonna dive into 6 o'clock. Gonna kill off every probe at that base. Wow. So many probe kills. Still 58 workers, though. Man, we're gonna have a carrier transition with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases. I'm gonna pay attention now to Sharp's POV and see if we can spot when he recognizes that there is this transition going on. 3 Stargates are in production. Bisu's kind of pushing in, making a little bit of a distraction right now, and he's hoping that Sharp will not scan his main base for a little bit longer. Scanning that army. He sees where things are moving. And he's looking for position. He's trying to get in and deny more mining. Bisu keeping control over the back of these mineral patches critically. There's the scan, and he finds it. Excellent scan there. The moment that he sees that, it's time to pull the trigger, time to move. We're gonna unsiege all the tanks and go, or are we going to send off just small groups of army? Looks like just one small group heading south. We're gonna try and clean up 6 o'clock if it can. Cutting off these dragoons from coming down to help. Some storms will be present to possibly save this base. But at the same time, Sharp doing a great job just clearing out a base with one tank. Might still be able to do this. He's gonna go after the probes, see what he can get. And only a couple of probes went down there. And this tank is gonna end up falling as well. The tank goes down. Sharp just sitting back. 2,700 minerals in the bank. He's completely maxed, by the way. Another scan. Keeping an eye, keeping tabs on what Bisu's up to. Surprised to see any more tanks or vultures in production, considering carriers are going to be out soon. It's time for all Goliath production, I would say. Army moving around the south once again, looking towards that 6 o'clock. He gets the scan down there. Sees a couple of storms, sees a couple of Templar. Some more shuttles with zealots are ready to take these fights. Science vessels are just gonna fly right in. Not sure where that's headed, but it's gonna end up on the wrong side of town. Maybe used to throw down a D-Matrix, or do we have a EMP? I don't think we have EMP. Moving forward. Okay, tanks are just gonna go right past. Am I looking at a broken replay right now? I don't think so. It feels a little bit weird the way that this army is moving. Oh my gosh. Tanks and vultures just kind of running in and dying. 6 Goliaths on the way. He is finally taking the threat seriously. And he did kill all the probes at this base, preventing any more mining going on at the bottom center area. Still, a lot of map control goes to Bisu, and he is going up onto a carrier with plenty of income. Pushing now towards the back of these mineral patches. Let's see if Sharp can get anything done with this army before the carriers come fully online. You can see where they're at right now. Looks like mostly a ground army in the middle for Bisu. You're gonna dive in. Oh, that shuttle gets shot down very quickly, but a lot of these tanks are clumped. Does gun down the Templar in that fight though. Where's the storm? Not casting it just yet. He storms his own shuttle, but he does get a pretty reasonable one on some of these tanks. There we go. More tanks getting stormed. Looks like the ground army will clear everything. Bisu pushing all of this back. He's got an insane amount of money banked after this fight. He's looking very, very good. Still no more factories just yet for Sharp. He's just rallying out. What is this? Am I actually watching a broken replay? What is it? What are these storms? Hello? I really don't know what to say about this guy. I'm gonna pause and I'll take a look, see if this is indeed a broken replay. Okay, I'm so sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened to the replay, but it definitely broke, and I think it was around this moment when the replay broke, right as he was pushing in to kill this base down at bottom center. Let's see how this actually went down now that the replay is performing properly. This is one of the just kind of funny, weird awkwardnesses of Broodwar. The fact that it just doesn't always work properly, the replay. Sometimes they break. Now these zealots are gonna get cleaned up. That Templar goes down right at the end. Oh, he's killing off some Templar on the right-hand side as well. I seem to remember a science vessel flying past here. Clearly that didn't happen. Science vessel over back at the rally point, and I really don't know exactly what was going on with that replay. Sometimes Broodwar has a mind of its own, just like my units in all of my ladder games. Now, army gonna make its way down to the bottom center once again. Looks like he's gonna try and take the base in the center left. This is a tough game for Sharp. He's only on 3 bases. He's gonna try and take a 4th, whereas his Protoss opponent has so many bases done. He's got a ton of carriers on the way as well. Looks like a little bit trapped right now. Bisu's actually in the wrong lane, where the base in bottom center is getting attacked. It's very hard for him to rotate all the way around and deal with this. While in the meantime, single tank, some vultures, and a Goliath gonna come over to this base. Maybe set up behind the mineral patches. Wow, a bunch more probes go down over at this base as well. And Sharp is kind of pulling Bisu apart. Now, it's not necessarily that he's gonna win this game, because definitely Bisu has that follow-up with the carriers on the way. He's about to have 4 out. I'm kind of surprised. I guess I've lost sense of time and timing in this game now because I've gone back, but we are about 2 minutes from where I went back previously, and as you can see, a lot more is going on in the true replay. Quite a bit of army movement indeed, and a lot less army just getting thrown away by Sharp. Sharp actually gonna push over towards the back of these mineral fields. He's killed the base down at 6 o'clock, and we'll be pushing up on this kind of awkward location with the minerals facing out towards the Terran player. Now the army is moving through the middle. Is he gonna go for a counterattack, or is he gonna try and dive on this army? It looks like he's gonna go for a counterattack, but here comes some drops. So he spent all the zealots out of that dropship already. And Sharp not able to target that down in time. A lot of this army is actually getting clumped up. Great storm though in the middle of all of this. Oh, another excellent storm. Science vessel goes down as well. Storms are going to clear up some of these tanks, but so many of them are left on low HP. Does manage to get that one science vessel. Some storms are going to get picked up into the shuttle. I think this is the point we saw earlier with the random storms getting thrown down and nothing actually being attacked by them. There we go. He was actually storming some Goliaths. They were invisible Goliaths though. Continuing to shove forward now. Sharp is actually killing bases. He's actually shutting down Bisu a little bit, but does he have enough anti-air to deal with the 4 carriers that are coming out? 4 carriers is getting pretty strong. 3 more are gonna pop here shortly as well, and there's still a lot of money in the bank for Bisu. He's rallying forward off of all of his gateways, trying to get some storms down on a few of these units. This is the moment for Sharp. This is his time. He could potentially come up and kill some of these Nexi before the carriers come fully online. He's gonna try and get up here, starting to kill a Nexus. We'll be able to kill that cannon before the cannon kills the tank, and I guess that Nexus is gonna go down. 1 carrier falls. The Goliaths in the natural just going to town, actually dealing a lot of damage there. +2 is done, +1 armor, +1 plasma shields as well. Lot of upgrades on these carriers. They are insanely strong, and there's not a lot of anti here to speak of. The only problem for Bisu, he's down to just 1 mining base. 1 mining base only. There's a couple of patches over at this natural, but they are going to run out incredibly fast. Likewise, top right is going to run out pretty quick, so he needs to get more bases online And soon, or he is just gonna fall apart. Sharp denying the push for the time being. Just Archons in this army as the Nexus tries to get thrown down at this base, this mineral only, which has already been mined quite a bit. DT's getting mixed in, but they're gonna get picked off immediately. Scan comes down. 4 DTs are gonna try to be thrown in. This can actually be highly effective when you're trying to deal with the carriers by microing these Goliaths. You often will not scan for the DTs, and even if you do scan, you actually have to right click down the DTs, otherwise your Goliaths are just going to target the interceptors and hardly deal any damage. Keep the DTs alive. They do so much damage. DT gonna get in there. Does go down to this vulture at least. The carriers trying to do something over at this third, but end up getting shut down. Too much damage coming out of those Goliaths. He picks off almost all the interceptors, and now 6 interceptors on the way at a time. There's only 6 carriers remaining. A 7th down in this bottom right corner. Looks like Bisu's kind of forgotten about that. A 8th actually gonna be joining up with this army. And this is anybody's game, guys. We've got 2 bases down in the bottom left-hand corner for Sharp. As long as he maintains that, he's gonna be pretty solid. However, all that Bisu needs is minerals. He just needs minerals. Keep making interceptors and come in and kill off some of these bases. He's gonna target down this command center. Just one right click. That's gonna eliminate all of this gas mining, all of this mineral mining as well. He will be able to back away from that position, moving forward against these Goliaths, but he really does need these storms to assist his carriers a little bit later on. Unfortunately, carriers are not present with this army, but it is a scary army indeed. 8 carriers now. A few more Templars are going to come up. If he can combine the carriers with the High Templars and DTs, man, there's almost nothing scarier. The Goliaths are going to get stormed like Hydralis, and the carriers will clear out everything that remains. Carrier's gonna come around from the backside, start to pick off a few of these Goliaths from the high ground. Oh, he's gonna lose 1 carrier. Nice target there. Gets 1 carrier. Maybe need to target down this science vessel. Great storms on these few remaining tanks. Excellent storms there. Carriers utilizing this map very well. This is an incredibly strong map for carrier play, and Bisu using this unreachable high ground to great effect. Oh, maybe gonna lose a carry. He does lose another one. 6 remain, and these probes are starting to get picked off slowly but surely. Sharp doing an excellent job staying active with these Goliaths and continuing to pump out more and more. He gets another carrier. Oh my goodness, he's doing it. But he will be pushed back for now. The carriers still alive. 7 of them in the army. No, sorry, 5 in the army. And no more in production. Uh-oh. 5 carriers is starting to feel not that strong. It's really not as scary anymore. Still, it is formidable, but it's when you get up to like 8, 9 carriers when things are nearly impossible. When it feels almost impossible to even take an engagement with them. Some vultures gonna make their way down here. Can he snipe both of these Templar before the next fight? That would be incredibly big. He gets both of those vultures. Gonna lay down a mine over here as well. That doesn't look like a very important mine, but I tell you what, that could be an insanely big mine. If he, for instance, walks some Templar down here and loses some to that mine, that could be a game changer. Carriers coming down towards this bottom left. He's gonna take dominance over this incredibly important area. If he's holding this spot, he can kind of move into a position over this high ground where the Goliaths can't really attack into you. And everything's going to be very clumped up for the Templar. Looks like Templar are coming out. Oh my gosh. Are they actually going to walk in on top of that mine? There it is. One Templar gets killed. And you just know how important every single storm is going to be in this fight. Dragoons are tucked away in that corner. Some of these tanks are getting shut down on the high ground. But it looks like Bisu will back out for now. One more tank may end up going down. Sharp gonna lose that. The supplies are insanely close. This is a very tight game. Sharp's not really expanding. Neither is Bisu. Hasn't expanded at all. And so he is again on one base mining. Only 30 workers, 30 probes versus 34 SCVs. This is so close. He's gonna be able to break it. This is such a good position for Bisu. You can see how he's just rotating and sniping tanks from that high ground. Now gonna move in. Everything is so clumped up. If he can get a storm on top of this group of units, they've got nowhere to move. Great storm there. Another excellent storm. A good D matrix keeping this tank in the front alive, but the storms are mincing these all important Goliaths. And as soon as the Goliaths are gone, the carriers will clear out everything else. He gets the last couple of tanks. And now there's only 2 Goliaths remaining. Has he done it? Has he done it? The Archon coming in. He's gonna go to work on some SCVs, no doubt. There's another round of Goliaths making their way down here, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. This one Archon standing his ground, holding off those 4 or 5 Goliaths for a good amount of time. That Dragoon with 8 kills, he's just been camping there, hitting SCVs for so long. With only 2 HP, he is going to be able to retreat somehow. Sharp holds on to mining. Down in bottom left, he's only got 26 SCVs left, but he's still alive. Absolutely insane. Looks like he landed the science facility over at 12 o'clock just to prevent his opponent from taking that base. Can he snipe this science vessel? No. Science vessel, importantly, gonna stay alive for now. And Sharp is holding a very important position on the map now. As long as he's holding there, he's not gonna be pushed back into this corner. And he can even set up tanks very far away from a high ground. Like if he sets up tanks right there, this high ground is so far away that you can't really snipe tanks that are sieged up here, but the tanks can cover this whole area. It makes it hard. It makes it very hard for the carrier plus ground army to fight in this area. And you can see that he's already sort of doing that. He's got 1 tank down here, albeit a very low HP tank. 3-2 upgrades are finished. Let's take a look at the carriers, what they've got. What are they working with? +2 armor, +2 plasma shields. My god, you hardly ever see. Oh, this is huge. He's gonna catch the Templars. They retreat. Oh my gosh, this is so big. He killed like three Templar there. Oh man, the army is so small. We're below 100 supply and you just killed 3 Templar for just a couple of vultures. That's so good. Might even be able to come over here and snipe some more. Let me get into the rally point. Or if he sees this, he can go for some more. Oh, he kind of whiffed. He actually attacked the Dragoon there for a second. Oh, but this mine. Oh, the mine connects as well. Bisu is kind of throwing this one away. It seemed like he might be able to win, but he's still, he's still not too bad. I think there's still a chance, even after losing those Templar for free. He might still be able to win this game. Rotating around now. He still hasn't expanded and his minerals are running so close to dry. It's almost time to start long distance mining, but he just doesn't have the probes to make that effective. Coming up with some storms. Gonna cast them on these frontal Goliaths. These Goliaths out in the front. The science facility just went down, so no more vessels can be made. That actually could be rather impactful. Vessels are so good in these late game situations. That's such a big army. Oh, 126 to 94. I don't know if you can take this fight, Bisu. 5 carriers. We've got 4 storm boys. Can he make it work? That's so much Terran. That is so much Terran. Dragoon moving forward. Probably not intentional. Carrier's gonna rotate. A little bit hard to get your glides through, especially when the tank's in the way. I'm gonna try to come down here and take control over this area. Templar gonna get sniped once again. The Vulture run by so good. This is so smart by Sharp. He is playing this perfectly. If Sharp doesn't win this game, I don't know what to say. Carrier OP. They're gonna jump on top of these carriers, finally melting some more of them down and forcing the army back. The Dragoons have all lost their lives, or are about to. He does manage to get that science vessel, but only 4 carriers are left. And 83 supply to 113. It's looking dire here for Bisu. Mineral fields are getting rather low. It's a little bit funny to see him still mining gas when the minerals are so important, and there's 2,000 gas in the bank. Great position. I was talking about this before. Setting up your tanks down at the bottom makes it so hard for the carriers to reach. And so Bisu's just gonna back away from that. And a little Vulture run by here in the natural. Good try, good move. Try to pick off a few more a few more probes. There's so few probes remaining. Setting up these mines at the rally point again is so crazy good. Oh my gosh. Another mine connection there. Some Vultures gonna make their way into the rally point. Ooh, he drags the mine in the right direction. Oh, if that mine went the other way, we could have seen both those Templar fall. But he's got 2 Templar. He's moving out with them. 2 storms are available. A little bit of a ground army. This is pure Goliath. The Zealot Dragoon is going to be invaluable. The storms, even more so. Vultures in the rally point again. Sharp absolutely will not let this go. He just keeps on doing this over and over and over again. Getting up into this rally point and making havoc. If there was just Templar and a couple of Zealots popping out at that moment, imagine the damage he could have done there. Imagine how much work he could have done. Vulture's gonna make their way over and going after another Templar. Not gonna be able to get it. 2 Templars still remain in this army, but Sharp is slowly crawling forward. He's almost on top of this mining, and he will start to kill these probes, the all-important probes. Protoss army coming down from the north. Looks like the Goliath's just gonna jump right on top of these carriers. The storms are thrown out, but it's not enough. GG is called. Bisu taps out, and Sharp is victorious with some amazing late game Vulture control, just getting in there over and over and over again, laying down mines. He's so good at these incredibly high EV plays, these standard moves, these things that you're taught, that you're told are good as a Terran player, but so few people will be able to consistently do them throughout the game and in these very difficult high octane situations. Remembering that, you know what, putting mines at the natural, building a few Vultures, even though this guy's got carriers, even though I'm having a hard time building Goliaths right now, pumping out a few Vultures and just laying down mines at the natural is so damn good. It just kills Templar over and over again. It gets little rallies of units that are coming out. Sniping those Templar with the Vultures after they've laid their mines as well is such a value play. Sharp showing us how it's done. He takes on, what was it, a 6 base carrier player. Or was at one point 9 carriers on this map, and he somehow managed to put that down. I was gonna absolutely say that carriers were OP if he managed to lose this game, or if Bisu managed to win, but there it is. Bisu gets taken out. Sharp manages to win. Shows us that no, it is not OP. It is absolutely possible to deal with it. Just play as well as me. That's it. That's all you need to do. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.